what's up guys? It's Mason Fact. I'm going to be recording the second video here of how to build a watch list. I'm hoping I can get this one done a little bit quicker. Hopefully you had a good trading day today. And let's just go ahead and dive straight into this. So if we look at the watch list from today, AVEO, which was a big runner, CFMS didn't do anything, CTRM had a nice big morning spike. I actually traded that one. EMBI didn't really do anything. SRUTF just faded all day, and TROV didn't really do anything. Let me pull that one up real quick. Yeah, it didn't really do anything. So let's go ahead and start building Wednesday's watch list. So by the way, I hope you guys enjoyed the first video that I made. Like I said, it was really long, but I want to just make sure that you guys completely understand what I'm doing when I build a watch list. I know most resources out there kind of just give you like a few helpful tips. They'll just say, oh, look for like the big percent gainers, this, that, and the other. I mean, yeah, it's a component, but I want to show you literally the entire process so that you could do this on your own and focus on picking the correct stocks to put on your watch list, avoiding the ones that are just random noise, just things that should not be traded, and then keeping your eye on stocks that may have a potential move in the coming days for either a long or short setup. And pretty much everything I'm showing you anyways is going to be on the long side. So I'm just going to clear out my last Wednesday's watch list real quick, or whichever day that was, yeah. And then we will go over the same process that I did in the first video. I'm going to transfer over the stocks that I believe are worthy of a potential trade tomorrow. And then we'll take a look at the scans. We'll go back through my secondary watch lists, and we'll make sure that everything that needs to be on tomorrow's watch list is included so that we are completely prepared to take advantage of certain situations that may happen that could lead to a profitable trade. All right, first of all, so AVEO is going on my watch list. As you may remember from yesterday's video, I talked about how it was a perfect multi-day breakout just above $1, and it had a nice run today. It was up after hours yesterday. Didn't do too much actually today at the open, but once it broke out of this little area of consolidation in the 120, it really went for a run, and it topped out at just about 185. And then kind of faded a little bit into the close, but ultimately it held above VWAP, still up 36% on the day, about 50% above the breakout level. I would not be surprised at all if this had another move, another push tomorrow. I will not touch that. But the more overextended it becomes, the more likely it is to be a great short candidate. Now let's say that it doesn't run tomorrow. Maybe it has a morning panic. That's less likely on listed stocks. Listed stocks, whenever they go red, they tend to be more choppy along the way down. You don't just get a good, solid, clean panic like you do on OTCs. But occasionally you will get one, so I'll keep it there just in case that happens. But right now, this is the hottest stock in the OTC, the just lower priced market for NASDAQ. So it definitely needs to be on watch. This should be on your watch list for sure. So CFMS, red on the day, down a little bit, but it's still holding up near this breakout level up here. So I'm going to keep it on my watch list because, as I said in yesterday's video, I am interested in CFMS if it can break out above that $2.95, $3 area as a potential long. CTRM. If you remember me yesterday, I talked about how it went from 4 to 1850, and then it had gotten crushed the past few days, and it's all the way back down to where it first started. Essentially, there was a good chance it would bounce, and I managed to get in early on this, and so I got in down here, sold in here, and then it actually had another push. But if it would have held up, it would have been potential swing overnight, but it didn't. It ultimately, broke support and just faded all day. I'm no longer interested in this stock because the move that I wanted happened, so I'm good. So this is coming off of my main watch list, and I'm actually not even going to put it on my secondary watch list because the only potential trade I would take on it again is if it had a really solid first green day with a lot of volume. And I'll see that if it has that type of trading day, I'll see that on my intraday scan, so I don't really need to worry about keeping it on either of my watch lists. So the next one is EMBI. This is creeping back up to that breakout level of 90 cents, but it's not that volatile. Just because the chart is clean, I'm going to keep it on my OTC secondary watch list. But I'm not really interested in it for a trade tomorrow. I mean, if it manages to break out, sure, it'll catch my attention. But like I said, it's just not that volatile. SRUTF. It had its topping action on Monday. If I could short OTCs with E-Trade, I would have been interested in a short on that day. And then it was just down today. This is going to go on my watch list for Wednesday because what I'll be interested in is to see if it can have a morning panic. And if it has a morning panic that's big enough, I will look to buy that. And the last one from Tuesday is TROV. This green day failed. It was red today because of this recent resistance. I'm not interested in it. I don't care even if it consolidates here and breaks out above 6. It's not going to go too far. So I'm good. I'm going to take that off my watch list, and it's not even going to go on my secondary watch list. So that's it for Tuesday. We're only transferring 3 stocks: AVEO, CFMS, SRUTF. So now for the nightly scans, I'm going to start with the listed stocks. We have ADMA. So this stock had FDA approval. They released that press release during pre-market. It went up a lot during pre-market, but took a dip at the open and was never able to reclaim that 630-ish area. It just kind of faded a little bit all day. Didn't necessarily get crushed, but just faded. This isn't the float's a little higher on this. The long-term chart is not that great. This is the first time it's really even traded significant volume. So I'm not interested in this. for now at least. Yeah, I might even put it on my secondary watch list. I don't think this stock is that volatile intraday. This is kind of like Derm that I mentioned yesterday, where Derm, went up 100%, but all of its volatility was during pre-market. Intraday, it really wasn't that volatile. So I'm good. I'm not going to include this on my watch list. AVEO, already on there. DPW. Woke up this morning and Bitcoin was up very nicely, so we had some sympathy plays spiking, but pretty much all of them failed. They spiked in the morning, failed to hold their spikes, and just faded all day. We'll see if Bitcoin plays pop back up on my scans tomorrow if Bitcoin can continue to go up in price. But for now, I'm not going to add DPW, probably not going to add Mara or NXTD. Any of those Bitcoin sympathies, I'm not going to include them on my watch list right now. Next one on my scan is EDAP. This one actually came back. Taking a look at this long-term chart. Long time ago, it had a big spike. I'm just not a big fan of this long-term chart. This is a little breakout of this last area of, last time it had volume, a little bit over 32 million shares. But I just don't really like this long-term chart. The volume today wasn't that great. The news, well, I guess they're an earning winner, and they did close strongly. But float's a tad bit higher on this one. Not that high, still under 30 million, but tad bit higher. Just not exactly my type of play. But because it closed strong, because it is a breakout, I'll keep it on my secondary watch list just to see what it does. Maybe it has another move tomorrow. Probably not, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. NXTD, Bitcoin sympathy play, morning spike. Did not manage to hold that. Didn't really fade as bad as some of the other ones, but definitely did not hold its gains. So you see first green day here, former supernova, back when Bitcoin ran over here. Speaking of which, what did Bitcoin close at? Give me 1 second. I'm going to look at my phone real quick to see what Bitcoin actually closed at. Oh, damn. Bitcoin closed about 19% on the day. It's pretty strong, actually. That's pretty good. Looks like NXTD actually released earnings today as well, so interesting enough. I'm not, like I said, I don't think I'm going to put any of the Bitcoin sympathy plays on my watch list. We have PRTO. I like stocks like this, so this is kind of like AVEO to a certain extent. Had this huge excuse me. So had this huge gap down here. Went from 350 to, traded in between 47 and 62 cents. And then has up roughly 22% today. We have this high right here of 62. High today was 64. Was that after hours? Yes, so that was after hours. So it went up. I will put this on my main watch list to see if volume can come in tomorrow, because I really like these types of charts. But here's the thing. Generally speaking, right after a stock has this huge gap down and it tries to break out above that recent range or that recent high, which is 62 cents, it generally fails the first time. Now I'll keep it on watch in case it doesn't. If volume comes in tomorrow and starts going up in price, then I consider it a breakout play and I'll probably take that trade. But generally speaking, based on my experience, it probably will be red tomorrow and it might need to consolidate for a few more days, and then that next push is the breakout that I would be far more interested in buying. So we have Riot, Bitcoin sympathy play, up decent amount during pre-market, failed morning spike, faded, but then consolidated most of the day, went up just a little bit after hours. Like I said, Bitcoin actually closed pretty strong. And this is also a little breakout of this range here for Riot. I really hope cryptos come back. That would be nice. All the sympathy plays are extremely volatile. But we'll see what happens. So I'm sitting here thinking, you know what? I might actually go ahead and I changed my mind. I'm going to put Riot and NXTD on my secondary watch list, because those charts were pretty clean for the most part. Obviously, their long-term charts are not fantastic, but we're talking about they haven't traded volume in a while. Riot has a little bit, but it's actually breaking out of that recent range. So I'll keep an eye on those, and I'll throw DPW on there as well, just because I actually really like DPW for a potential bounce play, because it's so far. They did a reverse split recently, and it has just gotten crushed these past couple weeks. And they actually announced this morning that they're discontinuing their ATM at the market offering. So part of the reason it probably got crushed is because when a stock has an ATM, they can just generate shares out of thin air and just start selling into the open market to raise money. And I'm sure that's what they were doing. And now that it has ended and they have the catalyst of a reverse split, the float is going to be lower. And if Bitcoin can continue this move and go up in price, then DPW, because it's a Bitcoin sympathy play, has a good chance, in my opinion, of having some nice volatility and some strength and buyers to back it up. So I'll keep that on my secondary watch list. SGMO. So SGMO had some news that they're doing something with Pfizer, which is a big pharmaceutical company. I can just already tell you right now, I don't like this stock. Float's too high. It's out of my price range. Had a big move during pre-market, but once the intraday trading came around, it's really not that volatile. I mean, it was only really in between $2 a share, and a stock that's this high in price, like, I want more volatility than that. I want BPTH type of volatility. Well, that's a rare one, but you know what I'm saying. I want a lot of volatility. This just frankly is not that volatile. So I'm not interested in SGMO. And then lastly, we have Zyne, ZYNE. So this has strong intraday price action. They had news this morning that they're presenting at some medical conference, weak catalyst, but sometimes that'll bring volume into a stock. Long-term chart has never gone supernova. Except, well, what is this over here? I don't know, had some big volume a long time ago. Hasn't really done anything since. But as you can see, it's had a little bit more volume recently, and it's tapping on this little breakout level here. Not exactly my type of breakout. I'm not sure if I would take that trade. It closed very strongly. Maybe it continues upwards tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. I'll put it on my secondary watch list just because I'm curious to see what it does. But I don't really intend to take a trade. But I'm really curious to see if that breakout holds, and maybe it goes to like $7.50, $8, maybe even a little bit higher. But because actually pharmaceuticals are kind of hot right now, biotech, stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if this had to move higher. But I'm just not sure I'm going to trade it. As I've already said, I'm going to put it on my secondary watch list. So that's everything for the listed stocks. Now we're going to move over to OTCs. We have BTCS and BTSC, which are both Bitcoin sympathy plays, former supernovas. BTCS is breaking out of this little range. Had some decent volume today, but failed morning spike and then went sideways all day. Even faded just a little bit. Because I've already decided to put some of the Bitcoin sympathy plays on my secondary listed watch list, I'm going to go ahead and put BTCS and BTCS and BTSC on my OTC secondary watch list, just because I'm curious to see what Bitcoin does, and if Bitcoin remains strong, some of these stocks could get going again. More volume could come in, more buyers, and we could see some nice price action. So real quick, just because we already took a look at BTCS, I'll pull up BTSC, but I'm already familiar with the chart. So it went sideways all day. Same type of thing. There's a little bit of resistance right here from recent volume, but if Bitcoin gets going, this could take that out very easily with the right amount of volume. So next on the list is CMPY. Just random burst of volume, not that many shares traded. I'm not interested. Maybe even it's a pump and dump. We won't be able to tell for several days, but the stock has literally done nothing in the past. Well, a little bit back then, but then it has this sudden random burst of volume on no news that just looks kind of sketchy to me. CYDY, only up 7% on the day, not really interested in that. Yep, absolutely zero interest in that stock. GBTC, that's Bitcoin sympathy play. Floats higher on that though, not as volatile as some of those pennies. I'll pull it up real quick, but if Bitcoin does move higher, as you'll see, a lot of these charts look very similar. They're breaking out of these little bottoms. They have stronger volume, and we could see them move up. But GBTC, it's not my type of sympathy play. I'm going to stick with those little penny plays that are a little bit more volatile. This one is not that volatile. It has been in the past, but it's just this is where a lot bigger players come in, is on GBTC. So it just makes it more difficult to move. And as a trader, I want volatility, as much of it as possible. Hemp, it's the next one on my scan. Pretty sure that was on the other day's scan as well, on yesterday's. But as you can see, I mean, yeah, it's been up 2 days in a row, but it's just not volatile. Went from 2.3 to roughly not even 2.8 in 2 days. That's just not worth it. As a trader, you need volatility to make money. I hope you guys are noticing some recurring themes here. That's why I wanted to do this over the course of a week, so you can kind of just listen to me commentate as I'm building the watch list, so that you hear certain things come up over and over and over again, so you can really cement them into your head to know what I'm looking for when I'm constructing a watch list and whenever I'm trying to plan out potential trades. So And then also, I may forget to mention certain things in each video, and you can just pick. Ultimately, I feel over the course of a few days, 5 days, whatever, I'm pretty sure I'm going to do this for a week. I think I'll say everything that needs to be said, and you can kind of all piece it together. But I'm going to try to say everything in each individual video. But sometimes I might miss just like one little key detail or something that I'm sure could be picked up in another video. Anyway, I think we're making pretty good time with this one so far. Not as long as the first one. So the next one on my scan is Cali, and I actually already have that pulled up over here. A little annoyed I did not buy this high daybreak here. I know Sykes bought somewhere over here, I believe. I think he's swinging some overnight. Wouldn't be surprised to see this move up some more tomorrow. My only problem is that it tried spiking, looks like last week or maybe like the previous Friday. What day was that? It doesn't even matter. But it tried spiking recently, failed. Actually, in fact, every time it tries to spike, it fails on that second green day. It has a slight gap up. You can see slight gap up, and then fails. And the volume's a little bit stronger on this day, so maybe it continues up tomorrow. But for a first green day, I want to see a big ass candle underneath this chart when I'm swinging a first green day overnight. I want to see a big candle. It's probably not going to be as big as some of these candles when it went supernova, but like I want it to be bigger than this. So actually, I'm not too annoyed that I'm not swinging this overnight, but that high daybreak worked well, and but anyway, let's assume that I had taken that trade, and sometimes I'll do this. Assume I had taken that trade and I'm playing this as a potential first green day overnight. That's a worthy candidate to go on my main watch list. So that's why I'm going to put it on my main watch list for tomorrow, Wednesday, April 3rd. Next, we have KSHB. It was only up 3%, not interested. MDCL, 5%, not interested. MGTI, that is another Bitcoin sympathy play. Penny stock, it can get very volatile. Had decent volume today, but of course it went, I think it had a failed morning spike. Yeah, morning spike and then failed, faded, and just consolidated down in this area all day. I'm going to put that on my secondary watch list for OTCs just because it's one of those penny plays that can get volatile if volume comes in and Bitcoin continues its move up. OGRMF only up 3%, not interested. OOIL, we talked about that briefly yesterday. This is a pump and dump. It actually took a dip this morning and then reclaimed and closed up 10% on the day. So pumpers are keeping it up. That's already on my secondary watch list for OTCs. No plan to trade it anytime soon, if ever. SCNA only up 5% on the day, not interested. UCLE. So this is a nice little multi-day breakout here, but the volume was extremely low. That's why it was not on my scans. But now it has my attention. It's just still the volume is very low. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on my secondary watch list for OTCs. And maybe the only trade I'd probably take on it is if it consolidated for a few days and went for another breakout. I'd probably take that trade. It's very small size, but we'll see what it does. For now, it's just on my secondary watch list just so I am aware that it's there. And lastly, we have WSLFF up 13% on the day, so I'll give it a look. Yeah, that is not a chart that I'm interested in whatsoever, so goodbye. Alright, so that is everything for the scans. So once again, started with Tuesday's watch list, moved over the tickers to Wednesday's watch list that I was interested in for a trade tomorrow. Then we went through the scans. found things that could be interesting, worthy candidates for the secondary watch list. And now it's time to go to our secondary watch lists and just make sure, clean them up a little bit if necessary, make sure we're not missing anything for tomorrow that could be moved up to our primary watch list. And now usually whenever I'm doing this by myself and not sitting here explaining it to you, I know where all of these stocks are. I know what I would be looking for each one. So I can just take a quick glance at them, see what price they're at, see what the percent was, all that stuff. And I know whether it needs to be moved up to my main watch list or if it can just stay on my secondary, or for the most part if I just need to pull it off. But for the sake of this video, we're going to go through it again. So we'll start with ADXS, down about 24% on the day. This was the one that was the reverse split, had volume. I'll keep it on my secondary watch list because maybe if it can fade a few more days and come back down to like 3 or 2 or something, it could potentially have a bounce, kind of like CTRM had today. So I'll keep it on my secondary watch list. AKTX. This is that former supernova. It's just fading slowly. I'll leave it for now, but I'm honestly getting ready to pull it soon just because it's coming down so slowly in price. And as I mentioned in the video yesterday, when a stock goes supernova, I want it to come back down very hard in a short amount of time and then look for a bounce. BPTH, I'm not even going to pull that one up. That's a stock that went from 2 to 74. I'm going to leave it for now, looking for potential first green day with some meaningful news anytime soon. CSSE, I know this was a breakout. Now it's just consolidating a little bit, back-to-back red days after that all-time high breakout. I'll leave it for now. Like I said, I'm not sure I'll be interested in taking a trade on that. DPW, we added that. EDAP, oh yeah, that's right, we put that on there. JAGX, talked about this yesterday. Keeping this on my secondary watch list because I would be interested in seeing it come back up and break out above this 50-cent area. But stocks have personalities. JAGX will do nothing for a long time, have one day where it has a ton of volume, goes up like 100, 200, 300%, and then it gets crushed until months down the road it does it again. So I'll leave it for now, probably pull it off tomorrow or something, but it's too far off those highs to, doesn't mean it's impossible, but it's very unlikely that it gets back up to this level and manages to break out anytime soon. NXTD, we added that during the scans. PHAS, it's a very clean chart, so I'll leave it for now. The problem is the volume is very low, but I'll leave it for now just because the chart is very clean. I'm curious to see if I can learn something from this stock. PULM, that was yesterday's big runner, and surprisingly it didn't get crushed today. So I'm going to leave it on my secondary watch list for now. I would love it if somehow this thing managed to go green tomorrow and could just like come back up into this $2.50, $3 range, maybe consolidate for a day or two, and then go for another breakout above 3. That would be great. Don't know how likely that is, but because it was yesterday's big runner, I'm going to keep it on my secondary watch list. Riot and ZYNE, we already put both of those on the secondary watch list during the scan. And we'll move on to the OTC secondary watch list. BTCS, BTSC, already put those on there. EDXC, this chart, this one has been a runner recently. Problem is, what I don't like about it is not that volatile, but it's holding up well up here. Maybe I'll be interested in a trade if it can break out above 40 cents. But because it's not that fast of a mover, I doubt it breaks out tomorrow or probably within the next couple days. But I'll keep it on the secondary watch list just because it's one of the cleaner charts in OTC Pennyland right now. EMBI, we moved that from Tuesday's watch list to the secondary watch list. GDET, GDET. So I mentioned yesterday that it's holding this area for now. It's still a little bit off, or a decent amount off these highs, over 50% off these highs. I think I'm going to go ahead and just pull it. I would love to see like a breakout above this range, but that's not going to happen anytime soon, so I'll just go ahead and pull that off. IGNG, talked about that yesterday. This stock runner, consolidated for a few days, multi-day breakout, ran big and then got crushed. Now it is trying to bounce off of that former breakout level. I will keep it on my secondary watch list in case they have any meaningful news, which the market deems to be meaningful. Solid first green day with a lot of volume, and that could be a potential swing candidate for me. LFAP was actually up a little bit today, 17%, but on low volume. Keeping this one on watch because I would love to buy this if it ever breaks out above this range right here. So it'll stay on my secondary watch list. MGTI, we already added that. MLCPF, talked about this in the video yesterday, that while it was a breakout to all-time highs on somewhat decent volume for this stock, I doubted that it would have any significant move today because this stock is not that volatile. Even though they had good news as well. But the stock is not that volatile, so I'm not surprised at all to see that it did nothing today. I will keep it on my secondary watch list because it's a clean chart, but I will never truly be interested in trading it until it becomes volatile and it can show me that that it can be volatile. It has to show me, it has to prove itself to me first. Then I will say, okay, now this is worthy of taking a trade. We have NGTF. So we see that, strong volume, consolidated for a couple weeks, tried to break out, failed. Now it's just consolidating again. It's one of the cleaner charts in OTC Pennyland. This is like a multi-year breakout above this area, but it did fail. Interesting. They actually had news yesterday that said that they had record quarterly revenues. I think all these stocks do, but yeah. But I'll leave it on the secondary watch list for now, just to see if maybe the market has been slow to see that news and it could maybe spike and break out again. I don't know. I think it's unlikely, but I'll leave it for now just because it's one of the cleaner charts. OOIL, we've already discussed. REFG. So this one, runner the other day, low volume though, but now it's just consolidating here. I'll leave it for now. Maybe if it can get back up to this area and break out. Not sure if I'll take that trade though because the volume's so low. But since OTC land is so quiet right now, any recent runner is worth just keeping a small eye on in case they can get extremely volatile and bring in a lot of volume. UCLE, we already talked about that one, and VRUS. This is one that's not very volatile at all, but it's up near this breakout level. I'm going to leave it on my secondary watch list for now, just because I'm curious to see if it does break out above that level, if it could get more volatile, but very unlikely I'd trade that one. And frankly, if there was more action in OTCs right now, this would not be on my watch list. So that is everything for now. The market's kind of slow right now, except for biotechs. So, my watch list is very small. Once again, well, real quick, before I wrap this up, I actually have a third scan, which it's my custom scan I built that's like specifically looking for low float momentum stocks. I'm just going to take a quick glance at this real quick and see if there are any potential candidates that just had really low volume today. I'm just going to take a quick glance, not really open many tickers. I just want to see about any of the big ones. I'll look at Mara real quick because that was a Bitcoin sympathy play. I'm going to go ahead and add Mara to my secondary watch list for listed stocks as well, just with Bitcoin having the move today that it did. So TCON, it's actually a pretty clean chart. It's pharmaceutical companies, so pharmaceuticals, biotechs, they're kind of hot right now. Most of its move, though, was after hours. I'm going to put it on my secondary watch list. I'm just going to keep a small eye on it. Hopefully I can learn something there. Maybe it has a little move tomorrow. I don't know. But other than that, that looks like everything. So once again, just a quick refresher on what we did today. Going over my routine on how I build my watch list. So it carries over from the day before. We start with my Tuesday watch list, which was for today. Today is April 2nd at the time that I'm making this video. As you know, to find success, I'm not saying that you have to do it this way, but this is what's worked for me. I always like to do my research the night before so that I am prepared for tomorrow and I know exactly what I am looking for specific stocks. And if they do those things, then I am completely prepared to take a trade on them. So we started with yesterday's watch list. We transferred over to tomorrow, April 3rd's watch list, what we were interested in. Then we went through the listed nightly scan, found candidates for our watch list or for our secondary watch list that could set up for a different trade maybe later in the week. Do the same thing for OTCs. Then we went back through our secondary watch list for both listed stocks and OTCs, cleaned them up a little bit, double check to make sure that there's nothing that needs to be transferred over to our main watch list, and that's about it. Last thing I'll mention is just remember, we want stocks with a lot. We want stocks that are worthy candidates of going on our watch list. We want them to be up a lot, even though it may seem counterintuitive. We want them to be up a lot. We want them to have a decent amount of volume so that there's lots of eyes on the stock, because what causes changes in price? It's the buyers and the sellers. So we want participants. If there's no volume, then the stock's not going to do anything because there aren't buyers or sellers to come in and make it move one way or the other. So yeah, those are just a couple helpful tips. I'm sure I'll be able to drop more wisdom knowledge in coming videos. Please, I want to make sure y'all get the most value out of this in the coming days, because by the end of the week, I'm going to be done with this little mini series. If you have any questions, please let me know. Reach out to me on Twitter. Comment on the YouTube video below. Let me know if there's anything you want me to do a little bit better on these. If there's anything you would like me to further explain pertaining to these videos. And anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your night. Have prosperous trading day tomorrow, and I will see you tomorrow night. And take care.